Welcome to GigaMe Videos, this comprehensive tutorial on creating an expense manager web application using React. This tutorial will walk you through the code step by step, explaining each component and function in detail, so you can understand how it all works together. Let's dive into the code. To start, we import React and set up our functional component called app. Inside the app component, we use the useState hook to manage several state variables. Expenses will hold our expense data, organized by categories and items. New category, new item, and new price represent input fields for adding new categories and items. Active input keeps track of the currently active input field. The handle quality change function allows us to update the quantity of an item within a category. It creates a copy of the expenses object, updates the quantity, and then sets the state with the updated object. The calculate item total function calculates the total cost of an item by multiplying its price with its quantity. Calculate category total computes the total cost for all items within a category by iterating through each item and summing up their individual totals. Calculate grand total calculates the grand total by iterating through all categories and summing up their category totals. The handle add category function allows us to add a new category to our expenses. It checks for a non-empty category name, and if valid, it updates the expenses state with the new category. Handle add item allows us to add a new item to a category. It checks for valid input, a non-empty item name, and a non-negative price. If the input is valid, it updates the state with the new item. Now let's look at the JSX part of our application. In the JSX, we have a simple layout with a title and input fields for adding categories and items. We dynamically render categories using the object.keys expenses.map function. Inside each category, we display its name and input fields for adding items. We conditionally render a table if there are items in the category. Otherwise, we display a message indicating no items found. Inside the table, we map through the items in the category, displaying item details and their respective totals. Additionally, we display the total cost for the category at the end. Finally, we display the grand total for all categories at the bottom of our application. This CSS code defines styles for an expense manager web application. The .container class sets the overall layout with a maximum width of 800 pixels centered on the page and provides padding title styles, the application title with a font size of 24 pixels and a margin below it. Category input styles, the input field for adding new categories, along with an Add Category button. Category styles the individual expense categories with borders, rounded corners, and padding. Item input styles the input fields for adding new items within a category. Media queries in the Add Media section provide responsive design adjustments for smaller screens, reducing padding and font sizes to maintain readability. These styles collectively create a user-friendly interface for managing expenses in the application. This code creates a web application for managing expenses. Users can add categories, items with prices, and quantities. The application dynamically calculates and displays category and grand totals. The user interface is responsive, adapting to smaller screens for optimal usability. That concludes our detailed tutorial on creating an expense manager app in React. By following this tutorial, you've learned how to manage state, add categories and items, and calculate totals dynamically. Feel free to modify and expand upon this code to suit your needs. Thank you for watching the video and connecting with us.